I never imagined that a routine trip to the bank would become the day my entire life split into a before and an after. That Tuesday started like any other. I kissed my husband, Ryan, goodbye before leaving. "Don't work too hard," he smiled, sipping coffee at the kitchen counter. "I'll only be gone an hour," I laughed. He waved casually as I backed out of the driveway. Nothing felt unusual. Nothing warned me that my marriage was already falling apart. The bank was crowded. I waited almost 40 minutes before my appointment. While reviewing paperwork with the manager, my phone buzzed. Linda, my elderly next-door neighbor, rarely called. I excused myself. "Hi Linda, everything okay?" Her voice sounded nervous. "Honey, I don't want to alarm you, but..." She paused. "Why is there a moving truck outside your house?" My heart skipped. "What? There are 3 men carrying your furniture outside." I laughed nervously. "Oh, Ryan probably hired movers." Another pause. Then Linda whispered, "He isn't helping them." "What do you mean?" "He's standing in the driveway, hugging another woman." Silence. I couldn't breathe. Linda continued carefully. "They're loading your dining table, your couch, even the boxes from your bedroom." I gripped the phone tighter. "Are you sure? I've lived across from you for 8 years. I'm looking right at your house." Then she added words I'll never forget. "The woman has keys." Everything around me blurred. The bank manager asked if I was all right. I couldn't answer. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. Linda suddenly gasped. "Oh no. What happened?" "They're taking your mother's piano." My mother's piano. The one she'd left me before she passed away. Ryan knew I'd never agreed to sell it. Never. I ran out of the bank without finishing my paperwork. Halfway to my car, another call came from Linda. "You need to hurry. They're almost done." As I sped toward home, my mind replayed every strange thing Ryan had said during the past month. Working late, weekend business trips, secret phone calls, passwords changed, credit card bills disappearing. How had I ignored every warning? 20 minutes later, I turned onto my street. The moving truck was still there. And parked beside it was a luxury SUV I'd never seen before. Ryan stood smiling beside a blonde woman. She laughed as one of the movers carried my mother's piano into the truck. Ryan wrapped his arm around her waist. Like they were celebrating. He hadn't noticed my car yet. Neither had the movers. I parked quietly across the street. For one long second, I simply watched. Then Ryan looked up. The smile disappeared from his face. The blonde woman slowly turned toward me. And that's when I realized. She wasn't a stranger. I knew exactly who she was. Stepped out of my car, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Ryan froze. The smile vanished from his face. The blonde woman slowly turned toward me. The moment our eyes met, my stomach dropped. "Claire," I whispered. She wasn't a stranger. She was Ryan's former coworker. The woman he'd always insisted was just a friend. The same woman he'd laughed about whenever I asked why she kept texting him late at night. "You seriously think I'd risk my marriage?" he'd said months earlier. Now they stood together in my driveway like a happy couple. Ryan finally found his voice. "Babe, this isn't what it looks like." I almost laughed. "Really? Because it looks exactly like my furniture is being loaded into a truck. Claire folded her arms but avoided looking at me. Ryan walked closer. I was going to explain everything. When I snapped, after you emptied my house. The movers stopped working. One of them looked confused. Sir, should we keep loading? Ryan hesitated. I answered for him. No, nobody touches another thing. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Their supervisor pulled out a clipboard. Ma'am, we're hired to move these items to another address. Who hired you? Mr. Ryan Carter. My husband. Yes. Did he show you proof that everything belonged to him? The supervisor looked down at his paperwork. No. I took a deep breath. This house is in my name. Most of what's inside belonged to my late mother. The supervisor's expression changed immediately. He turned to Ryan. Sir, you never mentioned that. Ryan's face turned pale. Before he could answer, Linda crossed the street carrying her phone. I've recorded everything, she said calmly. I started filming when they removed the piano. Ryan stared at her. You recorded us. I figured my neighbor deserved to know what was happening. For the first time all afternoon, Ryan looked genuinely worried. Then Claire whispered, Ryan, maybe we should leave. He ignored her. Instead, he looked at me with fake concern. You don't understand. We're moving because we're separating. I blinked. We're what? You've been distant for months, he said. I assumed you'd be happier if we just moved on. You assumed, I replied, without telling me. Then he said the sentence that destroyed any chance of saving our marriage. I've already signed a lease for Claire and me. Silence. Even the movers stared at him. Claire looked horrified. Ryan, she hissed. You weren't supposed to tell her like this. My world stopped spinning. He hadn't just been planning to leave me. He had been building a new life while still sleeping beside me every night. I slowly pulled out my phone. Ryan frowned. Who are you calling? I looked him straight in the eyes. My attorney. His confidence disappeared instantly. Because for the first time that day, he realized he wasn't just losing a wife. He might be losing everything. Ryan's face drained of color the moment I said, I'm calling my attorney. For months, he'd acted like he held all the cards. Now, for the first time, he looked uncertain. I stepped away from the crowd and explained everything to my lawyer, Michelle. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she asked one question. Whose name is on the deed? Mine, I replied. My parents transferred the house to me before Ryan and I got married. And the furniture? Most of it came from my mother's estate. Michelle didn't hesitate. Then tell the movers to unload everything. Ryan has no legal authority to remove your property without your permission. I thanked her and hung up. Ryan watched me carefully. What did she say? He asked. I looked directly at him. She said every single item goes back into my house. The moving company's supervisor nodded. Ma'am, if ownership is disputed, we can't continue. He turned to his crew. Start bringing everything back. Ryan stepped forward. You can't do this. The supervisor shook his head. Actually, we can. We're not risking our license. One by one, the movers carried my furniture back inside. My mother's piano, our dining table, the antique bookshelf. Every piece Ryan thought he had stolen quietly returned to its place. Claire stood silently beside the truck. She looked less like someone starting a new life, and more like someone realizing she'd believed the wrong man. Then another car pulled into the driveway. It was Ryan's father, Daniel. He climbed out, looking confused. "I got your message," he said. "What's going on?" Ryan rushed over. "Dad, she's making a huge scene." Daniel ignored him and walked toward me. I calmly explained everything while Linda showed him the videos she'd recorded. The footage showed movers loading my belongings, Ryan embracing Claire, and Ryan giving instructions as if the house were already his. Daniel watched the video without saying a word. When it ended, he looked at his son. "Is this true?" Ryan hesitated. "I was going to tell her." Daniel's voice turned cold. "That wasn't my question." A long silence followed. Finally, Ryan lowered his head. "Yes." His father closed his eyes for a moment, clearly disappointed. "When your mother and I raised you, we taught you that marriage is built on honesty, not deception." Ryan tried to defend himself. "It's complicated." "No," Daniel replied. "It's simple. You lied to your wife, planned a new life behind her back, and tried to take property that wasn't yours." Claire quietly picked up her purse. "I think I should go." Ryan reached for her arm. "Claire, wait." She pulled away. "You told me you and your wife had already agreed to separate." He said nothing. She looked at me with genuine regret. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." Then she got into her SUV and drove away, leaving Ryan standing alone in the driveway. The movers finished unloading the last box and closed the truck doors. As they left, the neighborhood fell silent. Ryan looked around. His girlfriend was gone. His father had turned his back on him. His plan had completely collapsed. Then my phone rang. It was Michelle again. "I've reviewed your documents," she said. "There's something Ryan probably doesn't know." "What is it?" "The house isn't the only thing protected." I frowned. "What do you mean?" "Your parents also placed your inheritance into a trust before they passed away." I felt my heart race. "So," Michelle smiled, "Ryan can't touch a single dollar." For the second time that day, everything changed.